It builds every third party. Shows. Yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ukela Prince, and I'm glad to welcome you to Talk Your Own. And you know, in Talk Your Own, we say it as it is, right? So, but today we'll be having something very interesting because we would talk about an event that is coming up in the city of Brampton, and also we would be delving a little bit into one or two issues that I think is pertinent to politics and also the black community. So, right here before me, I have Mr. Johnson ACHILIKE.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here.
It's nice having you here today.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
It's a beautiful weather today.
Yes.
What else but to enjoy the weather? Beautiful. And then, we have, scheduled events coming up.
So, Johnson ACHILIKE, just introduce yourself a little bit so that my viewers can really at least, put a touch to who the strong man is in the studio again. Someone I missed your face for a while, so let them reconnect.
Thank you very much. My name is Johnson ACHILIKE. I'm the president of the Conservative Party for Brampton Centre riding. Also the founder of Rise of Community Champions. It's a non-for-profit. Thank you.
Now, tell us about Rise of Community Champions.
So Rise of Community Champions, it's a youth-focused organization, and it came up as a result of the gaps that we have felt around the community. And what you see is oftentimes there's a systemic barrier that sort of limits people that look like you and I from advancing to the next phase of their lives. Now, so for our Rise of Community Champions, we try to create capacity. We create platforms, share information, trainings, such that people can take advantage of this and run. Now, so beyond your 9 to 5, we also create capacity on entrepreneurship. So we encourage people to reach out for partnerships. Now, no organization can grow beyond the quality of its businesses, beyond the quality of its startups and middle class. And oftentimes, this middle class is defined by entrepreneurs. These are the people that produce, these are the people that bring services that keep the economy running. So when you look towards our own space, oftentimes we pride ourselves as doing 18-hour shifts, 10-hour shift, 20-hour shift. All of that is beautiful. But beyond this, we also have an upcoming generation that are almost getting stranded. I'm talking about the young people. What you notice is that when these young guys come up, they are stranded in that moving to the next level, which is either getting the job or even getting the skills required to be employed, is lacking. So at Rise of Community Champions, we try to create this platform, bring in mentors who are already established to come in and tell their own story, how they succeeded, how they started, how they did it.
Okay, now in Rise Community Champions now, is it tailored towards the youth or it's open to everyone?
Now, Rise of Community Champions is open to everyone. Now, in a community, take a regular community, there are people within the community that their goal, their interest is to see that everyone rises, everyone, is inspired to do what is right. And there's this regular saying that we rise by lifting others. So we want to challenge our community that the best way to create a safe environment is to empower people around you. So empowering people doesn't mean just advancing dollars and cents. It could be by way of mentorship. It could be by advice. It could be by way of support. It could be by volunteering. Volunteering is one area that is lacking within our community. We don't get to see people understand that this country functions on volunteerism. We need to teach our children.
Okay, I would possibly I would love to come to that a little bit more after now. But for those that don't know, Mr. Johnson Achilike also happens to be the host of the Business Hub show, and so you can hear the business element actually emanating from his discourse. Now, Rise of Community Champions. One of the things that strikes my mind is the fact that when I pay attention to that name, it tries to give me a definition of an organization that is focused on people who are already established. So I want you to prove me wrong on that, because it's like Rise of Community Champions. It means that it's like a gathering of champions, people who are already made. And it's not in the making of people. So
That's a very great question to ask. Now, at Rise of Community Champions, it's not for. It's an open organization that targets everyone, but we are more interested on the next generation. The reason we are more interested in the next generation is that these are the people that will carry the baton. If you run a 4x4 100 meters dash, you will always have someone who will take over the baton. We are at that point where we have seen systemic barriers. And these systemic barriers, we have to dismantle these systemic barriers in such a way that those who are coming behind us will not go through the pains that we've gone through. So it's not focusing on those who already made it, but we want from every home, every community, every office to have people who have this consciousness of reaching out to others. And that's why we say that we rise by lifting others. So even to the downtrodden, even to the least amongst us, it's important. We want everybody to rise. Not rise literally, but then we're advocating for a better welfare for everyone. So for those who are going to school, we love you. Go get the right education. We don't want you to miss the way, because if you look around, you will see that if a number of youths are getting it right, but not all of them. So we want as many people as possible to get it right. As black people, if you ask questions, the best way to raise a child is by the community. And that's why your uncle, your auntie sees you on the way. They want to observe what you're doing. They correct you on the way.
Sometimes they knock your head.
Sometimes they knock you if your parents that knock you. See, but that is not the situation here. So you find out that people are just on their own. So we want to remind people again who we are. We can't just throw away all of that value.
Now, when we say who we are you talking about the blacks, or is it about blacks, or is it an inclusive arrangement? Because we're talking about who we are, so most times we hear that language, possibly maybe the black, movement.
No, that's not, it's beyond the black. It's not beyond black. It's beyond black. If you see a value that works, this is a value that raises a good citizen. It's a value that a child is doing something wrong. A child is losing the way. It's not out of place.
Okay, so in other words, we're talking about instill the right values in families, in homes, and all, in the community, in place of work, I know.
Yeah, because we want people to understand who they are, such that they can live at that path. Now, see, the worst thing that can happen to you is to lose your mind, is to discount yourself. So at Rise of Community Champions, we are there to handhold each other, go into partnerships, encourage partnerships, build bridges across borders.
Okay, let me come to this now. You're also a politician, as the leader of a major political party, in this nation, and a lot of people. Let me come to the black now. There is this, complaint of the blacks not really having what they are supposed to have, certain things that are due, and they feel that some are citizens, some were, but the color has been a barrier to most of us, in quotes. So, what's your interpretation on that? How true is that?
Yeah, and I tell you what, how did we get here? Okay? The mentality of some of our people is part of the problem. Now, sometimes when people treat you as a conquered fellow, you have to tell yourself that I'm here to stay and I'm not conquered, I'm moving ahead. I know the story of the slave trade and the impact that has continued to have, such that you see some people at times like the mindset is still being colonized, but you're not standing up for yourself. Now, I give you a situation. Government advertises at some point. It's on the website. People are not interested. We talk about it, but we're not even applying. You discount yourself. One of the things that made communities thrive, for instance, you look at the Southeast Asians. These guys build businesses that will employ their youths, their children. Also look at the Indians. They have a very great, methodology. Look around the shops, the malls, the businesses. These guys are entrepreneurial. They go in, they start up businesses. They build businesses that will employ their children. And for us, we are busy doing 16 hours a day, 19-hour shift. That is fine. But when you leave your kids and do 19 hours, the resultant effect is that parental care is lacking. And when they come up, chances are that there's not even available opportunities for them. Because as a people, we've not built that entrepreneurial mindset.
So what you're saying?
Some blacks are doing it, and I say kudos. Kudos to them. And these are some of the things that we will be discussing on September 28th.
Okay, before we get there now, so what you're saying in essence is not a systemic problem. It's...
No, I won't take away systemic barriers. Indeed, and I can tell you, there are systemic barriers. But systemic barriers alone is not the problem here.
What when you mention systemic barriers, can you be specific?
And I'll tell you. Systemic barriers in a way that when you go into an organization, Canada, you have all manner of cultures, all manner of communities in this country. When you go into organizations, you hardly will find the representation of the various colors, including people that look like you and I. Those are systemic barriers. You are not told not to come in, but you're not welcome. So apparently when you apply for jobs, that systemic barrier and banana peels around you could make it in such a way that you don't pass to the next level. So these are there, but you can't put that's why it's systemic. You can't put your finger at it that this is the thing, but it's there. So these are things we have to deal with. And it's often said that as a black fellow, you have to work twice as hard. And that's the challenge. of a young black kid.
Is that factual?
Well, situations have shown it that you have to really work twice as
Okay,
hard.
let me ask you this before we go on break. Now, this the idea of or the notion that most of our kids have come to a position where most times the things that their parents do, unlike some of the races that establish certain things, because you talked about the normal 9 to 5 arrangement and all that, and also establishing something. Most of the kids of even the blacks don't want to be part of what their parents are doing.
Yeah.
Is that a concern? Or there's nothing wrong about that. If it is, what is there any solution? Is there a balance that could be created? Because yes, the child has his rights, right? Wants what he wants to be. I want to be a soccer player. I want to be so whatever my parents are doing, that's their business, man. And most times, these things that the parents have labored so much, it perishes over time because nobody to pass it on to. So, and you are a business coach. So, how do you look at this?
That's a beautiful question. But this goes to tell you the genesis of our problem. Listen, we live in a free country, and that's what Canada has given us. We live in a country where you can spread your wings and fly. This country is locked in opportunities, particularly freedom. Now, the mindset of an average black business is me, myself, and my family. Businesses don't grow that way. Now, given the situation or scenario you've just painted, a man starts a business. All his desire is that my son
will take over.
Daughter will take over. No. That's a sole proprietorship. That's okay, but that's not enough. And I tell you, if you're looking forward to a business that will stand the test of time, that's why, for instance, just name any big business. You will understand that you even have shareholders.
That's right.
You have stakeholders, people who even invested in that business. So they are not in the business because of you. They are in the business because they are capitalists. They need to make profit. So whether you're there or not, they want to ensure that the business succeeds. So I don't want to subscribe to the fact that people must force their children to do what they've done. They are not being fair to that child because he's got his own experience. He's got his own exposure. He's got his own calling, or she's got her own calling. But if the child identifies with the business the parents have set up to do, because you could say you were raised from the proceeds of this business, so you have to give back to the business. But what I would say is every child should, as much as possible, support their parents. Every child, even if you're not interested. You should, for the fact that you are a member of the family. It's a family business. We've seen people who are medical doctors, who are engineers, who are scientists in different parts of the world, who also have a stake in the family business. We're all different with different capacity. So it's important that every child supports their parents.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. Let's go on a little break. We'll be right back.
It builds every third party that shows JFK in the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Your Own. And this is the second segment, and I remain your host, Ukela Prince. And like you know, I have in the studio with me none less than the president of the Conservative Party here in Brampton. Mr. Johnson ACHILIKE is here, and Mr. Johnson has given us insight into quite a lot of how do I call it now? Perspectives and the things that we need to actually consider in the area of business, and even he has touched the family and all that, and quite a lot also to help us have a better society and all that. So Mr. Johnson, now you are hosting an event in the city of Brampton in the next couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's hear about what's this event all about. Yeah.
All right. But just to set the record straight,
Yep.
my name is Johnson ACHILIKE.
That's right.
I'm president of the Conservative Party for Brampton Centre riding. Now, so discussing the 2024 Arise Business Conference. It's such a historic event.
Okay.
Because we are having business owners, mentors, startups, and young people. So this event is focused on creating a platform to support startups and also those who are at the point of I want to start a business or I want to start XYZ. And I tell you a story. There have been people who have said in the last 10 years, I want to start a staffing agency. And year in, year out, I want to start. I want to.
And nothing is done.
And nothing happens. Or somebody says, I want to start a franchise. But the point is, he's not able to move to the next level because he's devoid of information. He doesn't know how to get started. Not that he's not interested. So what the conference this year will do will be to provide information. And this information is going to be provided by people who are already running different kinds of business. So you will have mentors.
Sorry, is it the first edition?
No, last year we had we had a different thing.
Okay.
Last year we focused on bullying. It was tagged United Against Bullying.
Wow.
And we have, it was such a historic event. We had Canadians come out from elementary school to secondary to high school, different kinds of people. We had government leaders come in. You had different kinds of people. But the point last year was we had to raise our voice against bullying at all levels. And we also had a community which was part of policy making. But this year, because of what the economy has become post-COVID, a lot of people are finding it difficult, particularly within the community, to get ahead. So this conference focuses on entrepreneurship. It focuses on startups. It focuses on intending startups to provide information, to provide a capacity. And for instance, some of the things you want to see on that day we'll have consultants on the area of funding. Funding startups. Either in grants or in loans. But the challenge is, how do I get started? When government advertises for these funds, how do I know I'm qualified? Oftentimes, some of us will just disqualify ourselves without even applying. So we have people who are schooled in that area to help business people get ahead. Now, businesses can't thrive without numbers.
How do you mean?
You need a database. That's the difference between an established business and business that is not established. Established businesses have database, but most of us run business without any database. So we have, business leaders who will, school us at that with that concept. For instance, we have Dr. Justin Period, who's a PhD in statistics. He's a World Bank consultant. He's done several projects, supported several startups, providing relevant statistical information that could help a startup or an established business to thrive. And this revolve around government plans and government policies that you can even take care of. So there's a lot coming on board. We have people who own franchise that are coming to the conference to speak to as many people as possible who are interested in owning a franchise, and who have also young people. Who have young people who either in colleges or universities or even in high school who probably are interested in collaborating. So this is what the event is all about. And we are excited with the level of response that we're having. The event is going to happen on the 28th of September. It's a Saturday. Saturday, the 28th of September.
And the venue?
The time is 1 p.m. And the venue is the Brampton City Center.
The Conservatory?
It's going to be at the Conservatory Hall.
Beautiful.
Conservatory Hall. And it's going to be an exciting evening. And to just let you know, we also have some entertainment.
Awesome.
That's going to help you relax, with all the, info session that is going on. So, and we've had our partners from different parts of Canada coming to this event. So it's going to be a great day. And guess what? The event is open. It's open. All you need to do is just to register or come in even at the day. But we'll prefer that you go to the website.
No ticket charges?
No, just go to the website, sign up, and come in. It's riseofcommunitychampions.ca, www.riseofcommunitychampions.ca. And if you have a need to call us, you can call us at 437-218-5798. I take the number.
Take it again, please.
437-218-5798. So you could give us a call and one of us will attend to you. But it promises to be an inspiring event. I'm going to recommend that you come with your questions because we have seasoned, personnel.
That's one. I know you mentioned one already. So if you don't mind, can you mention maybe a few more of the keynote speakers or the resource persons that we are expecting on that day? Can you mention a few of them more?
Yeah, so we have Mr. Ryan. Ryan is a consultant. He's coming to the event. We have Dr. Justin Pear. We have Mr. Chibwese, who's a business person established here in Canada. We have Uche Okugo. We have Gwyneth Chapman. Gwyneth Chapman is the coordinator or leader of the Black Entrepreneurship Unit at the City of Brampton. And there are lots of other business owners. Well, of course, the Mayor of Brampton is coming. The Minister Shamin Williams is coming to give more information with regards to the opportunities around her office. And then there are also other MPs that will be gracing the event to share about information within their space. We've also invited the Minister of Small Businesses. We're expecting that she will be joining us at the event. And we also have MP Casey Maddow. He used to be the former Deputy Premier in Alberta. So we've sent in invitations and we are looking forward to having a very robust session. One of the things we might need to know is this is an event to start up building the businesses that will employ us and our children. That conversation is something we must start. When the Southeast Asians build their businesses, the first thing they do is to hire their children. They hire their own. The Indians also build their businesses. They hire their own. We don't have enough black businesses to hire black people. This is where there's a challenge. And that's why you see most of us complain of systemic barriers. So we want to encourage our people that this is the time. Let's handhold each other. Let's go into partnerships.
Yeah.
Let's go into teams to build the businesses that can employ us and employ our children. And I tell you what, if we don't do it at this age, what the current situation of the black person today will continue to revolve around.
So how should the blacks tap into this? Because this is not just a black event. So how should they tap into this? Because on the auspices of the Black Community Canada TV that you are in presently, and we have a good range of blacks who follow us and all that. So how could they really tap into this? Now, also there are some little, feelings or statements here and there about the economy and all that. So this is going to address economical challenges and all as well. And any international delegates even for these events as well.
Yeah, so we have a couple of people coming from abroad. Okay? We have a couple of people coming from abroad. But then the major way to tap into this 2024 Arise Business Conference is to get the information and apply it.
Get the information and then apply.
Apply it. The things, like I mentioned to you before, voyage of information is enough for deformation.
Say it again.
Voyage of information is enough for deformation. And we are where we are today as a result of decisions we've made long before today. Therefore, things are going to get better tomorrow as a result of decisions we make today.
I agree.
So when we have the information, we have to take a decision. So what makes people successful is what they do with the information available to them.
That's right.
So as a community, there are actionable points for us. Actionable points. And it's those actionable points that we want to execute. And that's why for everyone who is intending, you've not even started, you're intending, come and network free of charge.
Okay, so give us the link again, how to register for this event.
You can go to www.riseofcommunitychampions.ca. We can also leave the link on the
station
presentation and have people.
Okay, that's beautiful. So as I close, I want to ask you, Mr. Johnson, are you running for an office, for any office next year during the elections? If you are, which office will you be running for?
Well, right now, all I can say is I'm the president of Brampton Center Riding Association. That's my office for now, and I'm at that office. My interest is to support the party, and we are mobilizing to support the party.
Whichever way the party directs.
We are confident in the Conservative Party. We are confident. You see what our MPPs, our ministers are doing, and you could see also the growth in our economy as Ontarians. What the Premier Doug Ford is doing. I mean, there are 1,001 projects that the Ford administration has started and trying to help the people of Ontario.
Do you see the Conservative winning the Prime Minister position next year?
Listen, it will be lost on me to believe anything less. This election, the next election, is between the current government at the center, the Liberal Party, and the economy.
Are you saying Trudeau loses?
Listen, I'm saying and I'm telling you, this election is between the Liberal Party and the economies of Canadians. Canadians want a change, and I tell you why. When your take home can't take you home, then there's a problem. There's a more bigger problem, and that's why the better alternative is the Conservative Party.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
I have great confidence in the party leader, Mr. Polivier, that come on that date, Canadians will gather.
A lot of people who are trying to immigrate to Canada are scared of Poliver.
Well,
Don't you think that's an issue?
No one is scared of him because people...
Because of his immigration policies.
Listen, you need to understand this. The Conservative Party have always had a very robust immigration policy. But we get the accolades. But for a few people who are not well informed, they tend to, come up with an impression that, the Conservative Party might not support immigration.
Yes.
But what is worth doing is worth doing well. While we talk about immigration, we must talk about the Canadians. We must talk about the people who live here, the people who are fighting for this economy, such that because of what has happened, people's take home cannot take them home. It's a challenge. It's a challenge where the average middle class family find it difficult.
So do you think the present immigration policies in this government has flaws?
To be honest with you, the Canadian immigration system is one of the best around the world. But I'm a data-driven person. But it comes to mind when you see what is going on to say that appropriate data wasn't relied on. For instance, when you bring in students and a school who is supposed to recruit 1,000 students, you end up bringing 5,000 students because you love their money. What we are against is the possibility of taking advantage of these new immigrants, taking advantage of them. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Well,
Imagine also that you can't have the right accommodation. When you're supposed to be bringing in people, you're building.
I think I will take you on this on another edition of this in Tokyo on. So is it so that I can really let's get views as well. So let's talk it and
we
so
continue to support immigration.
Okay.
Immigration is fundamental, and Canada is a safe place.
Thank you.
It's open. Anyone who wants to come to Canada, I encourage you. This country is a safe place. It's a place to survive. It's a place to succeed, and it has all it takes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. ACHILIKE. So, viewers, that's our time for today.
Right.
if I let him go, so he will keep running now. All right, Mr. Johnson. We hope to see you another time in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Have a great day ahead.
Yeah. Bye.
Is Bill's ever third party that shows
The church where you are.
JFK said.